Stealth, the art of being completely undetected, as if you were never even there. Knock, knock.
What was that noise?
Me! I am that noise. I am the must have been the wind. I am the whistle from the hay bale. I am the one who crouches behind enemy and presses square many time. I am the shadows under light, the night vision goggle sight. I am the one whose footprints are these in the night. I am Stealth. Man! Stealth is a gaming concept so commonplace, you're probably shocked if you can't crouch behind enemy and press square in your padded out open world game. But stealth is a lot more than just a simple takedown or tacked on gimmick. It's a powerful tool that can completely change how a video game is designed and played. The act of sneaking around has had such a monumental and storied impact on the gaming medium. But when is stealth good? When is it bad? How do we make it better? How do we make it glad? It's important that we talk about it all right here, right now, but we also gotta be kind of quiet so we don't. Are you? What? Dude, I'm literally invisible! Okay. So, like I was saying. If you ask a gamer what the first stealth game is, you'll likely get some different answers. Oh, it's Castle Wolfenstein. That game let you wear enemy disguises. Nah, bro, the book of Guinness of being world record green and sparkly says it's 005. That game had enemy vision cones. Assassin's Creed Altair Chronicles is a video game that I own. But the correct answer actually seems to be Shoplifting Boy in 1979. Predating even Pac-Man by a year, you take on the role of the titular iconic boy as you walk around a store avoiding this guy and stealing Thai dollar signs. This prehistoric, barely comprehensible game still successfully established two core tenets of the stealth genre. Don't get caught, grab anything that isn't bolted to the ground. Beer before stealth, have good health. Stealth before beer, you're gonna have fear. Okay, so now let's fast forward a bit to 1987, and let me tell you something, man. You ever heard of a fucking Kojima production? Metal Gear is the godfather of all modern stealth games. To quote Mr. Ludonarrative Dissonance himself, Clint Hawking, without Metal Gear, there would be no stealth games. I don't think he's not British. More so than any game before, Metal Gear solidified stealth as its own genre. A lot of games at this point had mostly been about conflict. Shoot everything on the screen with your big gun. Holy shit, you're huge. But Metal Gear said, you're not some super soldier with infinite ammo. You're a fragile little snake and you actually want to avoid combat as much as possible. Quietly dispatch guards. Acquire gadgets like suppressors to use guns without alerting everyone. Metal Gear was originally supposed to be a combat-heavy shooter, but because the MSX couldn't have all these bullets and enemies on screen at once, Kojima, in a stroke of genius, utilized his limitations and realized the power of disempowerment. And remember that word, write it down, because it's very important to me and my invisible body. My man is horny as hell, and this is not how humans talk, but man, I so deeply cherish him and his productions, okay? Don't forget, they're his productions, okay? Now let's fast forward a bit to the most important year for stealth games, and maybe just all video games in general. 3 sacred seminal stealth games released in 1998, and every modern stealth mechanic can likely be traced back to one of these 3 games. Metal Gear Solid, Thief, and my boy Metal Gear Solid is a straight-up gaming monument for so many reasons. The cinematic presentation and voice acting, the creative fourth wall breaks, part where Otacon pees himself and then you let a wolf pee on you. Come to think of it, Kojima Productions kind of have a lot of pee-type beats. But the Soliton radar and predictable enemy AI that give you clear chirps on what they're thinking or doing, the game had an amazing sense of feedback. You always understood what was going on. Thief showed us how tense and atmospheric a stealth game could be when played from a first-person perspective, giving the player a lot of freedom while also disempowering them, there's that word again, to instill a palpable sense of danger. Big interactable maps with mechanics like light and sound engaging with the player's abilities and environment, an immersive sim, if you will, and you will, I checked. Hello? Hello? You know, usually there's like a guy that I yell at, but I don't see where the heck you get off to. Hi, I'm Jakey, and Jakey, attorneys at law. As an extremely successful, sexy lawyer, I live a very fast-paced, busy lifestyle. A lifestyle that makes it very easy for me to forget that I need to eat food, and then it's too late, and I'm hangry, and I'm screaming at my clients. Go to jail, it's a state overrule. Factor's meal planning and delivery of meals right to my doorstep is a lifesaver and keeps me from being disbarred. Because the second I realize I'm starting to go sicko mode, I can have a fresh, never frozen, delicious meal prepared in 2 minutes. And not just any meal. Chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals that I don't even need to leave my enclosure to get because they send them to me every week in a box. Modern shipping is a marvel. Factor has a variety of over 35 meals to choose from, with options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and more. Before Factor, I would often fall into the trap of just ordering food through an overpriced delivery app with a bunch of stupid fees because my hangry desperation would set in. Not only is Factor cheaper, but it helps me stick to a more balanced diet because it takes all the guesswork out of clean eating, so I'm not just filling my body with random mid-tier loot. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code NAKEY50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code NAKEY50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders. Yes, chef. Thank you, chef. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to trying to find out where the heck that guy went off to. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I think I see him. I think I see him right there. Whoa, oh, he's kind of coming. You're kind of coming at me fast. Slow down, ah! Ooh, drop the bass, yes, oh my God. Tenchu gives you nightmares if you watch your brother play it at a young age, and prioritized freedom of movement within a 3D stealth sandbox, letting the player parkour across rooftops and do flashy, cool, big sword press square behind enemy sword moves. That sounds a little bit familiar. Scratch his head, fucks. Okay, history lesson is over, but let me ask you something, man. What's gonna happen when an enemy oh my God, I'm literally a phantom menace. Getting caught in a stealth game never feels good, but it especially doesn't feel good if you don't fully understand why or how you got caught. It doesn't matter if the rules are unrealistic, it matters if they're consistently unrealistic. I don't care if the enemy AI is dumb as hell, that's fine. I care if they're consistently dumb as hell in a way that I can predict and manipulate. Do guards look up? Do guards look down? Will guards hear me if I run? Will a guard see through my disguise if I stand too close to them and whisper my birthday? It's December 28th, by the way. If one person sees me, then why does everyone in the galaxy know exactly where I am now? If the rules aren't consistently made clear, then playing the game will feel like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle, but the pieces keep changing size and color and shoot you with glocks. It's so much better when the game clearly communicates that, hey, this is where the enemy thinks you are with, you know, a clear visual cue, or the enemy yells, I think she's over there. The radar in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 is great for giving you clear feedback, but you can also end up playing a lot of those games just staring up at this square. It's the same with games that have that magical X-ray see-through walls vision. It's very easy to end up playing through a very beautiful game through this ugly lens, which just is not ideal. In a social stealth puzzle box game like Hitman, the X-ray vision makes a bit more sense because you're trying to keep track of so much information at once. But for more active, like action stealth games, I think Far Cry actually established a really sophisticated solution with the marking mechanic that Metal Gear Solid 5 also later adopted. It feels a lot more immersive and engaging to actually have to pay attention and clock the enemies yourself, but then the game gives you an assist and says, okay, we'll help you keep track of everything now. But even with all this help, sometimes you might still mess up and get caught from the shadows. I've been here the whole time, that's right, and my greatest stealth moves at this video is actually about difficulty. If I had a nickel for every time I talked about Anthony Birch on this channel, I think I'd have 3 of the nickels. It's not my fault, okay? If MFs like him and Ego Raptor didn't make videos like this, MFs like me would probably be working at Chili's right now. And I'd be wearing fucking Altair's robes too, talking about, oh, you want a refill? Boom! Anthony has a great video on difficulty where he talks about Metal Gear Solid 3 and how playing on the highest difficulty of Extreme actually forced him to play a stealth game like a stealth game. AKA, usually when you get caught in Snake Eater, you can pretty easily just CQC everyone and run to the exit. But on Extreme, you die a lot faster, so you can't as easily just brute force your way through. This one simple change forced him to actually utilize all of the different Kojima productions at his disposal and improvise creative stealth solutions. In this right here, this holy union of stealth and difficulty with a side piece of improv is incredible to experience, but unfortunately not always the default experience. Ghost of Tsushima, a game that I haven't talked about a lot on this channel, but one that I deeply cherish. Just look at this shot. Yeah, that's gonna pump the gas, all right. Playing on normal difficulty the first time, I had zero issue just sprinting into combat all of the time. And as great as the combat is, Ghost, being a disciple of drop the bass Tenchu, it also has a lot of flashy, fluid, stealth ninja stuff. Parkour, grapple hook, chain assassination, kunai, flute, songs, bow to your sensei. But like, you don't really need to use any of that stuff. On lethal difficulty though, it's a completely different situation. The enemies now kill you in like 1 to 2 hits, but also you kill them in like 1 to 2 hits. The kunai goes from being a fun, cute little toy to an essential difference between life and death. A smoke bomb isn't just a cool move, it is the key to surviving an onslaught of enemies. Every technique point spent can drastically change your chances of survival. This kind of increase in difficulty is the right kind of increase in difficulty, not just for stealth games, but for all games in general. Don't just make the enemies spongier with way more health. Raise the stakes in a way that pushes the player toward using all of the tools in their tool belt. And for most stealth games, that magic word, say it with me, you wrote it down, is disempowerment. You're much more likely to utilize stealth in Sekiro for these exact reasons. Everything will kill the S word out of you if you don't. The S word is sword. One of the greatest stealth levels ever, all gillied up in Call of Duty 4, has extremely punishing combat if you get caught because yeah, you are severely outnumbered, motherfucker. Sneak around. Dang, okay, I guess I need to run away and hide in this thing. What is this called? Getting caught sucks, but it doesn't always mean the fun part has to be over. In games like Far Cry, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Last of Us games, gameplay can exist in this constant flow between stealth and combat, leading to some really great improv moments where you're just doing whatever you can to survive. This is why the Last of Us games on survival difficulty have amazing stealth gameplay, and it actually feels like the way the game is meant to be played, the way that you're, trying to negotiate which resources you're gonna use because there's actual stakes. And it's the same thing with multiplayer stealth. Some of the most thrilling stealth moments in gaming can actually be found in online games. And I don't just mean Ass Creed or Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Online, as great as those multiplayer modes are. In a battle royale, you're literally scrambling to survive using anything that you can find. Whether it's a bush in Fortnite or a ghillie suit in PUBG, playing stealthily can hold a huge advantage. Thinking on your feet to trick actual other human players and prop hunt is full-on yes and improv. But as great as those improvised moments are, sometimes stealth games will actually push the player away from improvising, whether they mean to or not. Oftentimes, a stealth game can make the player feel inclined to reload a save after getting caught. The Dishonored series is a really interesting example. I've enjoyed playing Dishonored the most after cranking up the difficulty to at least hard so that the combat has higher stakes, cough cough, disempowerment cough. But Dishonored also lets you save whenever you want. And at the end of every level, you also get this rating screen, which shows how many people saw you and how many people you killed, which changes your chaos rating, which then changes the story. Don't get me wrong, I think Dishonored really does want you to be able to play however you want. And I think it's a common misconception that a high chaos run is the bad ending and a low chaos run is a good ending. It's not good or bad, they're just different. But I do think that when you frame it in these terms and you have a rating screen paired with the ability to save scum, it might subconsciously push a player toward a playstyle that's, oh shit, I got caught and I killed someone, okay, time to reload the save. But I find it's so much more liberating to just let things play out and see what emergent gameplay can happen. The new Hitman games have the same thing. Amazing, complex stealth sandboxes that subtly discourage the player from experiencing emergent gameplay moments because, oh no, my rating at the end will be bad if I do this fun thing, so better just reload the save. And all of this, this entire video was really just an excuse so I could say the following thing. Hitman Freelancer is the greatest stealth game ever made. Everything, literally everything I've talked about, It's in this game. Freelancer is the roguelike add-on that uses all of the same levels, but gives you random objectives and targets across a series of consecutive campaigns. There's no saving and reloading, it's just you, your targets, and a bunch of optional incentives to make extra money so that you can buy better gear to help you throughout your run. Freelancer's random objectives pushes you into situations that you would likely never get into while playing the base game. We'll give you extra money if you wear a funny disguise and throw an explosive baseball at this guy. Oh, you want me to use a goddamn katana? All right, shout out to the Tenchu, drop the base, let's figure out how to do this. And because you can't just reload a save, getting caught in Freelancer feels extremely tense because if you die, you fail the campaign. But because Hitman's enemy AI and disguise system are so fun to play around with and manipulate, even getting caught can turn into this fun game of cat and mouse. The overall feeling of Freelancer is, who gives a shit about a rating? Just get the job done however possible. Freelancer is like a goddamn comedy club with how much improv is going on. All right, so in summary, what did we learn today? A, I am invisible, and there is unfortunately no cure for that. B, disempowerment is a very powerful tool in gaming. C, emergent gameplay featuring improvised creative stealth solutions will always bang. And D, Kojima Productions are in fact productions by Hideo Kojima. Thank you so much for watching my video. What are some of your favorite stealth games? I'm realizing right now that I literally didn't really talk about like horror stealth games after mentioning that Thief was like started first person horror and there's like Alien Isolation, Resident Evil and all that stuff. Go watch a YouTuber play Amnesia, I don't know. Yeah, what are, what are some of your favorite stealth games? Put them down in the chat. I was about to say, what are you wearing? That's weird. Don't comment that. What's your favorite pattern of camo? And why is it teal? I'll see you next time.